Hey guys, welcome back to the Deeply Graphic Design Cast. I'm Nick Longo, your host today. This is our third episode of The Drop. It's kind of like a monthly news version of our podcast. It's also a great break. We're trying to line up a ton of great folks to come on board and join us on the podcast for a fun interview. But our calendars are kind of all over the place, so I love these drops. They're a great way we can kind of share what's happening in the industry, look at some really good news sources and see what's inspiring us. I have one at the end, and I'm not being that YouTube guy going like, stay to the end, but let me tell you, I have something at the end that you gotta see. It is just one of the coolest, most inspiring things I've seen in a long time in our industry, and I can't wait to share it with you guys as well. So right now we're just gonna go straight on into it. So I'm just gonna go and share my screen. Give me 1 second there, and we are good to go. Awesome. First up, found this one. 9 creatives are reimagining the original logo done for the London logo. And what's cool about this is they're using it in all kinds of internal and external branding, and they went to 9 creatives to kind of re-engineer and imagine what that might look like. Here's a really cool capture of all 9 of them, which are really, really cool. And this article goes into a lot of depth when it comes to what each designer did to create it. And what's so great is here's kind of the original, and then it went into the 9 different people here and what inspired them to create these different London logos. And we can take a quick look at some of these as well. This looks really, really cool. Love seeing these kinds of things. They're almost like little passion projects you could do. And I'm currently trying to put together a unique little brief to give my students that will be a unbriefed kind of project, and it sounds kind of odd, but when you find stuff like this that are really inspiring to see what else you can do, taking things and maybe being a little bit unexpected. So these are really neat. I love seeing what people can do. Look at this one. Oh, that's so cool. Very nicely done. Oh, wow. Love that one as well. That's kind of surprising. And look at that. What a great idea. This looks great. Some beautiful stuff here. Just to kind of get the creative juices flowing. I love seeing what people can do with a unique brief or a unique opportunity. Next up, I'm gonna do a little bit of a spin here. This is something I've been looking at for quite a while, and I'm a huge theme park nut. I just love everything when it comes to immersive design and creativity and innovation, and it must be from my dad taking our family to Disneyland all our lives and kind of seeing how things work behind the scenes and everything. But now I'm starting to notice too the graphic design that's being used and the creativity that's being used in a lot of these theme parks is pretty cool. So this, if you haven't heard of it, it's called Epic Universe, and it's Universal's latest and greatest big theme park out in Orlando. And I wanted to share this because I found, again, another unique way to find some inspiration is to look into industries that maybe you don't work with on a normal basis, and where can you get some really unique inspiration when it comes to something new that you're working on or whatever it might be, or maybe it's just unique hobbies and things that you're interested in. And what I love about this was they put together these portals when you enter a land, and the design of this is just I gotta show you this. This is so cool. So let's take a look here. I'm gonna look at this one. This is called Dark Universe, and this is celebrating all of the original monsters of the Universal franchise. And this just takes you on the entire path of what this looks like and the amount of graphic design. Look at the signage and everything else here. I think, let me replay this again because this was actually really something else. Hold on, here we go. Look at this portal. So that's what you walk in, has these video walls and all this sound and immersive stuff with smoke and fog and whatever. And I just thought this was the coolest thing ever. And what's neat too is you can even get into some of these things and see the graphic design of all of their restaurants and their shops and everything. I'm telling you, this would be like the dream job in so many different ways. I just love seeing what they're doing with these things. And you can even see here, they have this one part here. Where is it? There we go. Let's take a look at here. Here's a walkthrough. I think if there's any other job I would love to be doing in design, it would be theme parks or experiential design as well. And what's cool is you can see they have all of these really unique shops. This one, I saw that logo and I was just like, Pizza Moon. So cool. So well done. again, a great thing to look through as well. You can find tons of information on Epic Universe, either following them on X or Instagram and seeing the latest in developments. I believe it opens at the end of next month, but they're sneak previewing a lot of their graphic design and really cool stuff. Can't wait to kind of visit a place like this and see all of that creative graphic design in person. Well done. Super cool. Great creative job there as well. Next up, this is from Graphic Design USA. They have creative jobs in 2025, design skills that employers need now. And this is really cool. So we're looking at what everyone's kind of looking at when they put together a brief or a job listing. This is what employers are looking for, and just unique things to start thinking about what you can add to your toolbox in case you are in that zone of looking for a job. And as we get through here, it talks a little bit about some kind of like design starters, the skills employees are looking for today. Master cross-platform design. That's interesting. I think there's so many different ways now and so many apps that we be using, particularly with, you've got Figma, you've got Canva, and you've got their whole suite, you've got Adobe, and then you have everybody in the world playing in this AI game. So I'm kind of assuming here they're looking for those people that can kind of be on both platforms when it comes to that. And are you doing things that are responsive, thinking mobile first, cohesive branding across web, socials, and app? So maybe they're talking more about cross-platform as far as cohesiveness in there as well. But I'm also thinking as well, with all of these different apps in our toolbox, the more you know, the better. I had a student the other day that was at an interview, and he mentioned the fact that he's been doing 3D on Adobe Dimension, and the person he was interviewing with didn't even know about it and was so curious that he pulled it up on his computer and showed him all of his 3D renderings, and that was a huge plus for him. So I like this idea of having a lot more things in your toolbox so you can really impress the hell out of someone if you are on that job hunt. Some other stuff they said, how to get noticed in job searches. Obviously updating your digital portfolio, that's a must. Just got off a call with someone that I'm mentoring about their portfolio and their website. She had probably one of the most impressive UX UI designs of her presentation, but the problem we felt was she needed to update it because it took about 3 to 4 clicks to actually get to some work. It was very impressive what she had built as far as the intro, but no one has the time to go and click 3 times to go and find the work. So one of the things we did to update her portfolio was trying to find ways to let a lot of that stuff rise to the top so a employer can see that quickly. And she wasn't amplifying her big 3 skills that people will be looking for. So we talked a little bit about that, and I just love that they're bringing in this as a really great point right from the very beginning. They're also saying picking up relevant certifications. I'm noticing a ton of friends and colleagues are going through this process right now with both Adobe Certified Expert badges. There's different UX courses on Google as well, LinkedIn Learning. So all of these things to get added certifications. Why not do it while you're either on the job search, or maybe you're currently employed but you're looking for the next job and the next opportunity after that? Get on board with some of these certifications. People are looking for that, and they want to know that you're multidisciplinary when it comes to a lot of these design tools that are out there. Connect where creatives are hanging out. Obviously, different networking events, community-based things maybe in your neighborhood, or this is like, conference season. Creative South just ended, Crops coming up next week. There's so many different opportunities to get out there and maybe, spend that, little cash that you might be saving up for. It's such an investment in you to go to some of these places. Hopefully you can find some in your neighborhood. I know here in LA, a lot of people think we have a ton of them. I find them very hard to find. So I am going to the ones that are out there because they are bringing such great, unique, interesting people to get to know within our community. And the more people on your side, the better. They're also saying highlight AI experience and expertise. So this idea that AI is now baked into most design workflows, they're basically saying you need to be an expert, but showing you can use AI tools that gives an edge. And a conversation I was having with another person I was mentoring the other day was this idea that if you could show where you've used AI in a project or something you've done for someone and how it saved money, saved time, or streamlined the process, or did something that the company truly can benefit at. There's your way of kind of highlighting AI when it comes to any job opportunity or experience in the past. And there's so many different ways here as well. And they say 25% of leaders say their teams lack AI strategy skills. So if they're currently got employed people that aren't in it and aren't understanding it or haven't like dipped their toe into that pool yet, be that person that can do that. I think that's another great way you can add another layer of something that is on your experience. Tailor your pitch to the job. That sounds tedious and I get it, but if you're on the job hunt and you are sending the same content out each time, that's something that you might want to consider changing. Do a little bit of tailoring to each job opportunity that you are sending it to. Spend just a little bit of time. Obviously, AI can help you take your core cover letter, your core resume, and help you spit out a version of it that matches the job opportunity that you're going to. So just like they're saying here, tailor your pitch to the job. Ask for feedback on your work. Obviously, that's a great point as well. So good little kind of summary of a few things you could be doing here to make sure that you are looking at the things that the employers are looking for when it comes to hiring in 2025. What is a drop without a little bit of a graphic design kind of trend recap? This one was put together by Looka. It's looka.com. They have 10 graphic design trends for cutting edge graphic design in 2025. Let's see how cutting edge these are. I'm looking at them for the first time. Why graphic design trends matter. We've talked about this so many times. Trends, there's pros and cons to it. The pros are like it's identifying something that obviously you should be looking at and you should be kind of like observing. The con is I feel like if something has made it to a trend, it's kind of at its end in a lot of ways. If it's gotten to that point where we're highlighting it, but it's always good to get some inspiration from it and see if there's something maybe unique or a small little nugget from one of these trends that you could pull out and kind of figure out. So let's see what they got. Mixed media scrapbooking. Yeah, I get. That's kind of cool. I like seeing this. This is kind of neat. So now that we're seeing some examples here, love this idea of kind of mixed media scrapbooking within your design. That's pretty cool. This is really nice. Love this. Atlantic Theater branding by Pentagram. Very nicely done. Here's some more. And I think this is a showstopper because like when you see this in an unexpected area, like a massive billboard, and it's combining something that is a little bit scrapbooky or trendy, that is going to catch some attention there. I love the negative space. I love the minimal headline with Credit Karma up there on top. There's expression, there's joy. To me, this really nails it. And of course, it's done by Collins, so there's a huge budget behind that as well. Diversity and inclusion. Yes, I'm seeing this a lot more of as well. Here's some great examples of it. This Moro olive oil, I believe it is. This is really great. It's like Moro, now add. And what a great campaign to drop in diversity and inclusion by showing different users and different people that might be using their product. Again, more stuff here showing that as well. AI realism. So what is this? One of the newest graphic design trends to hit the scene, guys, this is new, is the use of AI platforms and tools. While this might seem counterintuitive, designers are using their creative minds to art direct AI tools and take graphic design to the next level. Okay, so little in between on this one. It looks like they might have kind of asked for a unique kind of Nike store in a certain area with a certain theme. Now, yes, it created something maybe to get your juices flowing or to spark something as far as what you could build on your own. But sometimes I think they're saying here, when seeing super realistic visuals of storefronts, the digital art that resembles hand-drawn illustration created by digital artists. Okay, interesting. But I like this as just thought starters. To me, if I can't think of anything or I'm having a mental block, I might shoot over there and see what it can do. It kind of can, throw something out that maybe wasn't in your thought process or it could be added to a mood board. I'm cool with that in a lot of ways. Pretty cool. Let's see a few more things here. Nice seeing what they can do here for like backgrounds and stuff like that. Next up, maximum contrast. Okay, this is always a principle, right? Contrast is one of the first things we teach in my graphics design class 1, because of course it's just attention grabbing. There's vibration, there's something going on there between these massive contrasts. So calling it maximum contrast, I agree. I'm starting to see this a lot when you just go down the aisle of any store, or particularly a supermarket, and see what food and beverage branding is doing in this space. Man, it's almost like all you see, and it's kind of getting a little bit too much. But love this idea that maximum contrast, if you're not kind of using it in some way, obviously I think, every project can use contrast, but with color and things that are so opposite ends of the spectrum, at least that's a great starting point. And then you can kind of hone it back and find that comfortable zone in between, which is kind of cool. Love that. Fonts as the foreground or the forefront. Yeah, I'm seeing this a lot too. This is a great example. I like that a lot. A lot of type. A lot on the back there. Quite a big, bold statement with that big paragraph on the back. But this is something, yes, in packaging, seeing a lot of. This slather one's cool because one thing I will give it is it does bring in a organic hand-drawn element with the sun, and it's very original to them. I think the name of the product is pretty creative, calling it slather. And then being a little bit bold with their typography, that's just begging to be read when you see something like that. So, minimalist vibe, love it. I think this looks great, but they're basically saying sometimes the right words in the right font pack a bigger punch than all the design tricks in the book. Yeah, but it's still got to be aesthetically pleasing. It's still got to have the personality and everything you've agreed on when it comes to what that brand's going to be with particularly your client. So dig that as well. Now, this is cool. I love this example because it doesn't have to be the bright and vivids only. This is a perfect example of, type really working well, but not having to be in these big, bold, bright colors. Love this vibe. This is great. Those are two unique, like almost muddy, kind of like clay-like colors, but they are complementary in a lot of ways, and it works beautifully there as well. Here's some more where the type is really, standing out big time as well. Love this one as well. Very original and cool with that type as well. Doodle this. Okay, so what's this one? The unwavering power of a hand-drawn logo is wiggling its way back into branding. You heard it here first, guys. This is something that we're seeing a lot in different graphics everywhere. I do love this a lot in the restaurant and hospitality space because I think, to me, it adds a personal touch because it feels like, obviously it's handwritten, but it also mimics signatures and the personality of the person who did it, and this was done by one person. This one here, Pop-Up Bagels. Okay, so I'm going to New York in June, and this is the first place on my list, with the exception of Pop-Up Grocer, which is one of my favorite things to follow as well. If you're not following them, Pop-Up Grocer on Instagram, take a look. But I've heard nothing but great stuff about this Pop-Up Bagels. Love this idea. It's not, I wouldn't call it doodling. I would just call it more like signature, handmade, organic type to stand out amongst all of these, wacky and crazy fonts that most brands are kind of using. Let's see what else they show here. This is kind of nice. Nice seeing a unique vibe here on this UX for a website. Oh yeah, this is where we're seeing it a lot of as well. Love this. And not only is it the typography, but the doodle of the graphic and the mascot feels very quick, very, hand-drawn, fast. Love that look. In fact, that'd be a showstopper. I mean, that'd stop me in my tracks. Anti-design. Okay, been hearing this a lot lately. Over the years, we've seen many renditions of anarchy in design. All that's to say, breaking the rules tastefully is easier said than done. We're seeing multiple fonts with varying weights and sizes, altered spacing, and sideways compositions to make you tilt your head. Okay. Now, yeah, you gotta make sure someone's gotta, be engaged enough to do that. But this is kind of unique. I'm a big fan of the fonts, particularly the variable fonts that are in Adobe Fonts and some other ones that you can find as well, with the sliders and able to manipulate the font more truly to it, what the designer had in mind, rather than stretching or bending, normal fonts. So I'm a big fan of that. This is cool. Again, if it matches your aesthetic and it matches the expectation of what you're building with the brand, I'm down for that. This is a nice little layout of some ones that I really dig. I'm seeing these even show up a lot in like preset templates on both Adobe Express and on Canva. This kind of like unconventional, modern, someone labeled it as just avant-garde design, and I think that's a great way to look at it. That's ever changing. What's avant-garde today will be totally different than what's avant-garde in 2 years from now. But if again you're looking for aesthetic that is unique to the project you're working on, that might be cool. This is kind of neat as well. I mean, you've got to be going after a demographic that is going to take the time to look at this and get the information, because it's a lot going on in one place. This is anti-design if you really need to know what they're saying here. This is kind of hilarious as well. I dig it. It's not my style. I don't have a single client that would buy this, but if you do, more power to you. Simple geometry. Yes, seeing this a lot. I saw something the other day very similar to this poster, and it caught my eye, and I even said to myself, I was like, why was I even, this is the most simplest layout in the world. Why am I so attracted to this? What made it so unique and cool for me to just stop and take a look at? And again, I think there's just something beautiful about here. There's still principles of design all in play. Balance, contrast, easy to read. You got blurred images, you got sharp images. You're playing with attention grabbing design, and it just works. Really, really nicely done. Ooh, there's a brand I haven't seen yet. That's pretty cool. Like that vibe. These are great as well. Neat when you see that. I hope it just has meaning. It's not just, patterns. You want to make sure there's something cool about that. All right, number 9, the dark side. We've noticed designers have traded the blank slate for a black one. Okay, I've seen that a lot too. Yeah, I think you got to be careful with that, making sure it works. This means we're seeing more black backgrounds. So color choices amongst designers are shifting to brighter ones to offset that dark. As black becomes the main contrast shade, designers are free to experiment with any shade in lighter or bolder end of the spectrum. Okay, yeah, that kind of works. But again, like this, it's not, that box isn't always going to live in a black world unless this is like a physical place where it's totally in that situation all the time. For some reason, I just considered packaging, and you can't control what the background of your packaging is going to be all the time. But this is cool. Yeah, this is where I'm seeing it being used a lot. That's pretty cool. Notice how the colors really pop. Typography is heavily readable. I like that as well. Last one here, and let's see, is anything cool? Yeah, seen that before. This is nice. Back to sustainability, making it important, giving those extra elements and kind of earthy tones looks good as well. Oh, that's a beautiful example as well. Some beautiful packaging there. That looks great. I'm going to give this a B+ when it comes to trends, because I'm not typically too impressed with it. And we're 4 months in to 2025. These are definitely aesthetics and trends, but I don't feel like they're anything too of the moment and can't work for a long period of time. So good inspiration there. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that one as well. Pretty cool. All right, this is a good one. Major charities creating bold new brands as donor numbers fall. And I started seeing some of these rebrands of things like Parkinson's UK here. And what I loved what they were doing was they were almost bringing some of these brands that felt like they were stuck 20, 30 years ago and bringing them to current trends, current design aesthetics. And what was nice about this was it's good to see that there's a reason why. If the donor numbers are falling and their perception out there is too old or too conservative, can they change the attitude and hopefully get more donors coming back and see? So these are some ones where they've rolled out recent rebrands in a bid to modernize and stand out when it comes to that. So there you got the Parkinson one again. Neat to see that they're even turning it into that. We all know if it can't tote, it's not a good brand. So this totes looks great. Again, cleaning up the message, making sure they are straightforward and getting it really, really clean and very nice. This is cool for scope. Looks great. Good idea with the ever-changing O. I love that idea. Let's see if there's anything else here as well. Nice. I wouldn't even take that as a charity. Really well done. Ending hunger together. A UK-based brand together. We can end hunger in the UK. Nicely done. Love the idea of the underlining. The color changing looks good as well. Great look and seeing what some of these charities are doing to modernize and get there up to speed. All right. I really wanted to show this one because I never saw this brand before, and I saw them at Expo West, which is this Los Angeles-based health and wellness expo where, you know, like over 1,000 of these brands come and show off their latest projects. I didn't realize Half Day was a rebrand. I thought it was a whole new soda, and or actually half and half, so it's half iced tea, half lemonade or juice. And Earthling Studio just rebranded them, and I saw a lot of people saying like, oh, I love the old one and it lost all of its charm, and I was like, didn't know. Had no idea, but I was judging it just off of the beautiful freshness of this. And this space, regardless of if you're in soda or the prebiotics or anything health and wellness or beer or wine or non-alcoholic, all these sections, you have the smallest little real estate to look new, to look refreshing, and to lure that consumer in. And I just thought they did a beautiful job with this Half Day, and I think the name alone just like sparks this idea of like, ooh, Half Day, that means I am half off, right? Like I get to leave early or whatever that is, and I get to kind of spend it my way. And that's just relaxing, and that's just what a great vibe for this brand. And look at this one here. I love how this works. Keep in mind, if you're doing anything in the space, or if you're looking to put motion into your portfolio and you don't know any motion, try Adobe Express. You can literally make something very similar to this in there with simple animation tools and export it as an MPEG or a MP4, and that can be used on your portfolio and social media, you name it. You just bring in your still kind of PNG image, make a background, assign some animation to it, and you'd be more than surprised at what it can do. But here's a great shot. Love lifestyle images. Adding that into your case study is great. This is really neat, using it as part of the sentence, so call it a half day. Love that. Really cool to see. Super clean, big, bright, bold, vivid colors. The turning one looks great as well. I love this. It's such a refreshing look, and I love these 4-pack boxes. Really nicely. They're pushing the name so much. I really dig that. It just starts a whole conversation. More stuff here. Oh, I love the way that one rolls in last. Very cool. So kudos to Earthling Studios for this really cool rebrand of Half Day. All right, what else do we got here? Another one. Harvesting Heritage. BNA reimagines Polish food brand Longo's gonna ruin this one. Let's call it Datona? Are we good with that? Datona. This is cool. So this is a beautiful line of different foods, jars, cans, you name it. But take a look at that beautiful logo mark, word mark, the way it works together, the system they have in both cans and on the jars, and the way they use the reverse color. Sometimes it's white, sometimes it's red, and that kind of will help dictate what maybe the background color is. The way they brought in the food elements as well. It's creating, to me, it reminds me of when you go to any kind of grocer or delicatessen. I know when I go into like our favorite Italian delicatessen here in our neighborhood, I'm gonna find tons of imported goods from Italy, and it has that same old European vibe. That's really cool. But then it has this modern kind of edge to it with this beautiful, positive, happy figure within this half circle of food and vegetables and fruits. Really nicely done. I love this little more animation as well. Oh, that's a great one. Look at this little transition from old right there, spinning and showing the new one. Man, if you know After Effects, please hit me up. I need to do this for a current rebrand right now. This is so cool. What a great way to reveal the new one. Love that as well. Take a look. Cool. Look at that. On the shirt as well, showing a bowl of it, kind of all freshly cooked and everything. Well done, guys. This is, oh, look at that. Man, what a beautiful thing with the balance of that like textured gold. A+. Yeah, digging that as well. Okay, this is my favorite brand I've seen in quite a while. This hip hop. I know we've got nothing but everyone doing a soda brand or a healthy soda brand. These are CBD kombuchas, and when I saw this, I really was jealous because I was like, man, this design team did great. This is obviously Robot Food creating a whole new punchy rebrand for hip hop. It's a fun one to say because you want to say hip hop, but hip hop. And look at the simplicity here. I mean, to me, this checks every box. You've got this beautiful centered illustration of the flavors, right? You look at strawberry and pineapple, you see that immediately. With a super high contrast, hip hop is always black. So trying to make sure of that. Perfect. So that means all of their background colors have got to be quite light to kind of make sure there's enough contrast and everything. But it works. It works in white. It works in hot pink. It works in turquoise. I feel like this is future-proofed down the road, that they can probably bring in, you name the flavor, and they can find a way to make it work where maybe it might work better on white or a signature color for the background. So let's take a look more here. Here is the old version, and I think I'd only seen that once. And again, nicely designed. It's not a bad design, but was it not the right solution to sell the soda in that tiny little space that you have, to show off your brand, to show off your personality, who you are, how are you going to make the consumer feel when they take a look at it? So here is the rebrand, and you can see here in just their social media, like little capture, man, that looks so good. Love this energy, super nice. Let's see what we got here. We got some more stuff. Beautiful animations when it comes to all of the different things, bringing in lifestyle, bringing in the person that's going to buy this, who is their demographic. They drop them in just that clearly to understand. Boxes look great as well. Love seeing them stacked. You've got informational and you've got like billboards. So the way it kind of turns when it's stacked like this is pretty cool. Oh, that's great. Love seeing it here with some merch, a fridge full of hip hop. Looks great. Bus and interactive kind of displays. Again, this is another thing if you're looking for something cool to add to your portfolio of a previous project, you could build something like this in some of these easier things. I know Canva does it as well. I've been using Adobe Express to make a lot of these little animations to populate some stuff that looked a little stale on the website. So great stuff here. Again, you can create something just as cool as that. All right, I promised you something really amazing. And I'm just gonna tease this because I want you guys to watch this whole video. Okay, where you're going, go on YouTube, search for Super Ordinary, and it's super spelled S-U-P-R Ordinary. A new kind of channel just dropped with 2 teasers and one 17-minute video called Giving a Small Sandwich Shop a Big Rebrand. I don't want to say much more. I'm just gonna say watch that video. Probably the coolest inspirational thing I've seen in a long time that got me excited again about being a graphic designer, being someone who builds brands for people, small businesses, local shops, whatever it might be. The reveal at the end of this video is probably one of the best presentations I've seen of a logo concept. Plain and simple. This guy, Devin, just knocked it out of the park. Already been talking to him on Instagram. I want to bring him on the podcast. Again, watch it, enjoy. It's one of the best things you'll see in quite a long time. So well put together. But again, beautiful reveal. Should be inspiring to all of us that create and present and pitch our work to our clients. Hey guys, got some cool merch. I think I showed you guys this before. We got the DGDC signature hat. The shop is linked everywhere. If you go to our link tree on Instagram, or if you're watching us on YouTube, I believe there is a link there as well on our homepage, the Deeply Graphic Design Cast. Hopefully you're watching there as well. I hope you guys are checking out the videos, man. We're loving doing these as well, particularly for episodes like this. It's so cool to have this availability and share visuals alongside of chatting with you guys as well, particularly when we have guests on. We can show off a lot of their work and everything, or doing these drops because they're so visual as well. We are so glad you guys have been sticking around with us. Hopefully you're enjoying all these videos. We're still shooting for the weeklies. Next week might be tough because we will be over in Austin for Crop, but myself and Tom are all geared up with camera and mics, hoping to get some really good interviews and some great kind of like guests to kind of chat with and just shoot the shit with and have a blast talking about design. So have a great week, guys. We'll see you next week. Talk to you soon. Bye.